Hello, it's Amy with Just a Little Ink. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And today I'd like to share with you a card using some online exclusives that are going to release tomorrow, March the 5th, here in the United States. And I'm just going to get right at it so you can see what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be using the Latte Love bundle. It's part of a little latte suite of products. Comes with the stamp set. It's a photopolymer stamp set, coordinating die set. I'm actually sitting here, which is, and I've got mine on a magnetic sheet, but they create the dies. Not only do they cut out some of the images, which I will use, they also make coffee pots and cups, which are just so much fun. I haven't used these on this card, but it is so much fun. And if you are a die cut only person, you're going to love this, especially if you're a coffee person. So I'm going to set that out of the way, get all of these things together. I'm also going to be using the Everyday Details dies, and I'll kind of show you those two. This is how they come from Stampin' Up! I'm going to be using a circle from that set to create a kind of a backdrop. Those are out of the January to April mini catalog. I'm also going to be using the Happy Little Things dies. These are also a new online exclusive that will release tomorrow. And we're going to use just this one little banner. There's a stamp set that also coordinates with this that I don't currently have. And so cute. Anyway, let's get going. I'm going to show you quickly all the things you're going to need to do this. This is a gift card fun fold. And just to note, if you are going to place an order and it's under $150, if you'd please use my current host code. And you can order anytime at my blog, justalittleink.stampinup.net. And the details on this card will also be at my blog, justalittleink.com. So you need a quarter sheet of cardstock, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm using Lost Lagoon. You're also going to want a piece that is 9 inches by 3 1/4 inches and scored along that 9-inch side at 4 1/2. You're going to want a piece of designer series paper. I'm using not the splatter part, but the stripes, and this is from that suite of products that'll be available tomorrow. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I've got a couple more pieces of that designer series paper. There are dies that cut out some of the cups from this set, and I don't believe this is one of them. I think it's on another sheet, but you also need a piece of designer series paper that is 4 1/4 by 3 inches, as well as a piece of basic white cardstock that's 4 1/4 by 3. And then finally, you're going to want a piece of designer paper. This is what the cups get cut out with using the die. This piece is 4 1/4 by 2. And then you're going to need a few other pieces. This is a piece of Petal Pink, 2 3/4 inches square. You're going to want a piece of our watercolor paper. So this is the Fluid 100 watercolor paper that's at least 2 1/4 by 2 1/2. And then a scrap piece of basic white that's 1 inch by 4 inches or thereabouts. And for my cups for the inside, I've got a little piece of Lemon Lolly that is 3/4 by 2 1/2. And so, oh, and almost forgot, a 4 1/4 inch piece of the dotted trim, and this is also included in that suite of products. So let's start. This goes really, really pretty fast, but what I want to kind of share first is the watercoloring of the cup, because I think that's kind of unique. I'm also going to be using the water painters. So you're going to want that. And it's helpful to have a scrap, just a piece of paper towel to kind of daub off any of the ink that you're going to be using. I'm using some Lost Lagoon with a cup. And so let me just get the cup stamped here. Just like so. Go ahead and clean it. I'm going to put this away. I'll keep it here in a minute actually, because we're going to watercolor with. So we'll set this aside. I'm also going to use some of the pecan pie ink, and that is for my latte portion that I'm going to stamp in the middle. And you can cut this separately. You can stamp it and cut it out. Get in the camera just a teeny bit here. But what I'm going to do is avoiding that extra cut. So I'm going to stamp that there, clean, stamp up. It's always a good idea to clean your stamps. And then I don't need this one still, but I am going to pull out some early espresso ink for the rest of the coffee. So let me grab my water painter. Water painters come in sets of 3. I'm using, I think, the smaller of them. They keep water or other liquid in the barrel, and then I'm going to just get it going. Once I know I've got water coming out, I haven't used that. There we go. And then I can wipe it off. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to start actually coloring a little bit of just my cup. So what I did is I came across, and I know that I'm not using, I'm using actually the watercoloring over water-based ink. If you don't drag it across too much, it does fine doing it this way. And it doesn't lose details of all the lines that are within this. I'm going to come across here just to get my color of my cup. And I'm going to clean it on my paper towel, and I'm done with my Lost Lagoon. And I'm going to pull out some of my early espresso, and I'm going to come in between and just kind of blend a little bit along that area that's between my latte swirl and where there would be coffee. And I'm going to come back, and with it being watercolor paper, it'll blend. It holds a lot more water. You could use basic white, but you don't need to. Like so. This was a card I had actually made for a swap with some fellow demonstrators. And so then I'm done with that part. I'm going to close my lid. I will need some Lost Lagoon here. So then I would run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine using the die that cuts out the cup. But I've already done that with one that's dry, because it's best to do that when things are dry. So I've got one already done, so we'll set this one aside. And we'll go ahead and get everything else going. I would also run, as I said, through my circles using the Everyday Essentials dies, and I've already done that. The only thing you're going to want to know is that it creates all kinds of these little dots. I mean, everywhere. And so you want to kind of keep track of all of those. But I'm going to put my dried dye, I'm going to glue it down. And I think I'm actually, if I can get some out of my glue bottle, I'm going to actually just use the glue. You can, and I'll show you why. I'll slide it across here. I'm going to put my coffee cup on here, and I've got glue underneath. I'm going to go ahead and stamp my thanks so much. I think maybe I did do this in something else, but we're going to use it in Lost Lagoon. Ink up my Lost Lagoon with my thanks so much. Clean up my stamp. I've got a little more stamping, but to keep it from inking everywhere, I've got my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine sitting here. Open it up. I'm going to layer up that little die set that I told you about. And I'm going to use this one. Could use either, but I'm going to use this one. And I've got just a piece of, well, I had it somewhere. Thrown it off. I've got a little piece of Post-it note tape, which I've been finding works better for holding my dies in place than washi, because the washi's been wanting to tear up my cardstock just a little bit. So I'm going to make sure I've got it straight. It's always helpful. Okay. And then I'm going to run it through my machine. Out of the way. So it just releases a little better than, and you can reuse it a number of times. All right, go, get these out of the way. So I've got then my, I've got a lot of paper. All right, tape up a little bit there to hold it. I'm going to slide it underneath because I used the glue. I've got a little room. And I want it up about like so. Let's see how we do when I layer everything else in here. So it's a little bit more stamping, but not too much. I would also run my coffee cups, and you have two of them. They face different directions, and you can run them through. I've already done that. So let me grab it here. I've got it sitting on top of my card. So I've got my coffee cups. So let's start assembling all these pieces. They go together really pretty fast. So I'll get my Stampin' seal out. And the only thing I found was that this paper, with it having stripes that aren't quite straight, sometimes gives an optical illusion that things are not lined up very well. So you just have to kind of play with that. Like so. Then I'm going to fold this piece in half. Use my bone folder. Come across, get going. Then I'm going to attach this. You could use tear and tape if you're a little worried about it not being secure enough. I'm going to put this in the center. Whoops, make sure I'm opening the right direction. So this keeps it from being too bulky. Let's come in about so. I'm anxious to have a few more ideas with this card. Can I get that straight? Seems crooked. That might be, again, an optical illusion. So then I'm going to take, even though this would probably make more sense in some ways, I really liked, I know it's a little busy. I normally run ideas past ladies on my team, members of my team, or other fellow demonstrators, just that I coordinate with friends that see, do you like it? Do you not like it? And the response I got was a little busy, but I just kind of liked the busy part. So I'm going to put this strip of ribbon across here because I kind of liked how that looked. And you can use tear and tape on here, but I found that the using just our tape runner worked actually really not too bad. All right, so got that there. I'm going to grab a couple dimensionals on the back. I like kind of working in threes. So I'm going to come here, and then I could cut some down, but I've got minis just sitting right here. I keep both on hand. So I'm just going to run a couple mini dimensionals across there. Get rid of those little ends that are always fun to get off and you find everywhere in your house. I don't know about you. so, and then I'm going to layer this on the front. And this is why I said I might adjust a little bit, because I want my words, to come up just a little higher so that it lays kind of right underneath that ribbon. And that's kind of where having the adhesive like I did works so well there. So now I've got an open here, and that's where those other two pieces come in. I'm going to take this, and I've got somewhere, yes, I'm going to stamp that this one's on me, which I thought was the perfect words for a gift card for coffee. So I'm going to take this one's on me, clean that up, and I'm going to take out again one more time the pecan pie and the little coffee beans, which I thought were kind of cute sitting over here. And then I have place to stick my little coffee pots, or not coffee pots, my little coffee cups. You could put a coffee pot, actually that'd be kind of cute sitting over here. So a little bit of adhesive on them. You could cut them out using some of our adhesive sheets, and then just remove. That would make them go fast too. Oh, I thought it was kind of cute, just a tip. There's even little coffee that you can put on here, and I might add that later because I think that'd be kind of cute. Hadn't thought about it earlier. So that's going to come on this side. See my measurements I wrote on the back side just so I could tell you what sizes things were. I'm going to line it up here, and I pulled out my 1 3/4 inch circle punch, which is available also in the online store. I'm going to come in, I'm just going to grab a nib from that little bit so that I have a place for that to come off. So I'll get that out of the way as well. And the only thing I found was best is if you take your glue, your liquid glue, and kind of come along the edge. You could also, again, use tear and tape, but you just want to get those edges to keep the gift card in place. And our liquid glue really does work quite well. So I'm going to turn that around. It's going to come in on this side with the same amount of relief on the sides and the bottom that I have on the opposite side, like so. And see, then I've got the perfect place to slide in my gift card, like so. And when that's dry, so I'm going to kind of tip it up a little at the moment, maybe even come in this way so I can allow that to dry. And it'll be just fine when it is. So one more thing. In this suite of products are some Adhesive-Backed Swirl dots, and they come in 3 different colors. The petal pink, the pecan pie, and then some probably very vanilla. And my preferred way to get these off is always with my take your pick tool. And I like the putty end. A lot of people will use the little putty knife that's on the other end. But I'm going to pull off, and I kind of liked the white. So I'm going to come and grab just a couple of them, stick them over here. I like 3s, so I'm going to come up this way, and I'm going to take my other 3rd one, and I'm going to come down below, just to give a little bit of interest. And that is it. It's a really sweet, fast card that you can put together in no time at all. So thanks again for joining me. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out through my Facebook page or my blog. You can find me, Just a Little Ink. It's a great search. And again, thanks for joining me. Hope you've subscribed, and I will see you again soon.